Corporation proudly congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa upon his resounding victory in the recent elections. Witness history as it happens as we broadcast the swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday, the 12th of May 2026, live at the Kololo Independence Grounds here on UBC TV, our radio stations, and all our digital platforms. Ugandans, let's protect our gains. Long live NRM, long live Uganda. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Your health matters and your voice deserves to be heard. Introducing the show that puts you at the center of the conversation. From common illnesses to complex conditions to the questions you've always wanted answered. Top medical experts.
The cost of maintaining that bed on a daily basis 24/7, because an ICU is a 24/7 unit. One single bed can cost between 2 million and 4 million per day.
Real questions from the viewers. Practical answers you can trust. Now, join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. as we talk openly about issues that affect you and your family. Health Q&A talk show, your health, your say. Sophia Matovu, and it's the Health Q&A talk show where we say your health, your say, because it's indeed your say. And of course, I would like to say thank you so much for keeping it here with me every Wednesday and for participating. And I believe we have tried to ensure that your questions are answered and some of you have gotten solutions to your health concerns. Now today, we draw and put the attention on one of those rare areas. It is something that is deadly and silent. By the time we get to realize it, it's already too late. And this is from the products we consume. It's within the products that we consume daily, and that is industrial trans fats. I might be sounding very technical, but we'll break it down for you. We're talking about industrial trans fats. It's linked to the risking rise of heart disease. You've seen many people now having complications, and by the time they realize it is something they could have solved, and that is out of what we eat. But what are the industrial trans fats? You know, where do we find them? How can we regulate on our intake of industrial trans fats? I normally tell you, I bring experts for you to be able to disseminate the information or to demystify whatever it is. In studio with me, I have a young gentleman, a nutritionist, but he has titles way beyond that. I would like to ask him to introduce himself. A very good morning to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Sophia.
Okay.
And thank you for hosting me here at the UBC TV.
Okay.
My name is Ruma Daniel Henry. I am an assistant lecturer at the Department of Nutritional Science and Dietetics, Chambogo University. And also a great collaborator, nutrition technical collaborator. I collaborate with the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights, CEFROT, in line with promoting a healthier food environment for Ugandans. So basically, that's what I do.
Okay. Now, okay, for how long have you been in this specific field as far as food and nutrition is concerned?
As far as food and nutrition is concerned, I think actively, I've been in this for coming to 6 years now. And because of the great interest in diet and health generally, I have been one of the key people loving and supporting and promoting the health of Ugandans. And basically, that is it.
Okay. Now, by the way, it's a fact, if you notice, most of the people who speak nutrition, who speak diet, he is on the right track. You can tell from the body size, and but they keep body mass index something very seriously. Now, our topic today is eliminating industrial fats to reduce heart disease risk. Now, let's first start by breaking it down for the layman. When we talk about industrial fats, you know, industrial trans fats, what are they?
So, when we talk about industrial trans fats, basically, I don't want to go too technical, but to break it down, it's basically the lipids that are produced in our bodies, or I mean that is introduced in our bodies through the foods that are prepared or prepared using oils that are transformed. Basically, they had hydrogen to it, or they do what we call partial hydrogenation. Doing partial hydrogenation or partial hardening, it adds hydrogen to it and makes it, most times they do it for purpose of keeping oils, to make it keep for a longer period of time. But by introducing that component, or that chemical component, it makes the oil not good for what? For human consumption. And basically in simple terms, I would just make it like that.
Okay, so we're talking about manufactured fats, kind of.
That's true.
Okay, now how are they linked to heart disease?
Yeah, so when we talk of industrial trans fats and they're linked to heart disease, basically, one, they are through mechanisms like what we call the double trouble or double trouble cholesterol effect. One is that you realize that these industrial trans fats, what it does to our bodies is that, one, it increases what we call the bad cholesterol. That is, in chemistry we call it, or biology we call it the low density lipoproteins. So it increases what we call the bad cholesterol and also reduces what we call the good cholesterol. The good cholesterol is always that cholesterol called the high density lipoproteins, and usually what they do is they transport the bad cholesterol to the liver to be eliminated from the body. So when you have or you consume foods rich in these industrial trans fats, that is basically most times the deep fried food there that we consume, the coated foods, you know them, for people who order them. Some of the donuts that is prepared with some of these oils. So what happens is that it leads to, when you take it inside our bodies, and it leads to the buildup of that bad cholesterol. The bad cholesterol aligns itself in our arteries, that blood vessels that take usually the blood towards the heart. And when it aligns itself there, what happens is that it leads to what we call the hardening, technically called the development of the plaque, because that low density aliprotein or the bad cholesterol, it is sticky in nature. It is sticky, and what happens to it is that it combines with other fats and calcium to form a hardened substance along our arteries, and that is what causes sometimes the rupture of arteries, the damage, or it even affects the lining of the arteries, which is usually, if it affects the lining of the arteries, that means that it prevents that normal dilation when blood is flowing, and that can lead to high blood pressure, and that can lead to the stroke that we have today, and so on. Thank you.
Now, can smaller amounts of the trans fats still have that effect, of those industrial trans fats? If somebody is consuming them in small amounts? If
someone is consuming them in small amounts. Yeah, thank you for that question. No. The World Health Organization basically has recognized that there might not be actually any safe amounts, but usually because of the hard way through which sometimes it is to eliminate it totally, or to tell people that it's totally unacceptable, all these things, you know, people will respond differently. So what they do is they have limited the intake to about 2 grams per day. Let's say you consume a donut per day, that would be okay. But the truth is that even only 1% consumption of that industrially produced trans fats in a day, it increases your risk of heart disease by about 5%. And every 2% addition daily, it can increase your actually risk of developing heart disease, like the stroke you have nowadays, the heart attack we have nowadays, by about 23%. That means even the smallest quantity may not be good, or is not good at all. So basically that's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do these industrial trans fats also contribute to things like, speak to the area of obesity, diabetes? Do they also contribute to that as well?
Basically, for industrial trans fat, you know, obesity is directly linked to intake of highly sweetened foods. Obesity is highly linked to intake of unnecessary intake of too much energy, which is stored in the body. But for industrial trans fat, meanwhile, all these diseases get interlinked. They can increase the risk of all, but for it increases the risk of what we are calling the heart diseases because of its effect on the coronary arteries.
Okay, yes.
Or your blood vessels. Thank you.
Now, what can be done? You know, families, there are certain times we believe if our kids don't feed the way we think we want, because trends have changed.
Yeah, that's true.
During our times, possibly, we would comply, but the days you'll find that the diets or the meals at home are determined by the children. If the child says, I want to eat fries, that is what the mother will say, and everybody will have to tag along with that. Yeah. How can families work safely to ensure that this is controlled?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. You see, we need to know what is good. You may feel you are loving your child so much by buying for them the crisps, the Gorilos, and all these deeply sugar sweetened and also highly processed food that are actually, maybe they use a lot of fat in it. You may think you are loving your child by doing that. But in the long run, I want to speak directly to you now that that is not love. In the long run, that is hatred for the child. I would make it look like hatred for that child. Because if you love your child, then you will not allow them to choose what would affect them in the future. Because access to all these unhealthy foods will definitely affect your child in the future. And this is not a story, this is reality. So it's just like postponing problem for your child in the future. So you shouldn't allow your child to decide to go in the wrong way. A parent wouldn't do that. So basically, you wouldn't do that. They wouldn't take that decision by themselves.
Now, based on your expertise and given that you're good at governing and supporting us on how our intake should be, what can we use to replace the trans fats instead, those industrial trans fats? Because I believe there are other alternatives of what can replace this for the other.
Great. How can we replace this? One, for us to replace, we need to know the sources. And for the cooking oils we use, like the sunflower oils, we use at home. Some people use peanut oil, some people use extra virgin olive oils.
Yes.
They're okay. The problem comes with, you have come across some bit of ardent oils that sometimes we use on spread on breads. Sometimes you have to first put in the saucepan, then it dissolves. That's what we are talking about. Then when you are taking a product and then you see labeled partially hydrogenated oils in the ingredient list, partially adding oil in the ingredient list, use of shortenings. So basically, if we know, then that means we can avoid. And because we are saying most of these, the bad oils that we are talking about, it's actually in products, not basically what sometimes we use out there, but they are always in these processed foods. But the cooking oils we use, like the sunflower oils, we use the peanut oils, those are the options that we continue using because most times they are not easily degradable even at high temperatures. But this one that are transformed, they cause all these effects. So that means we can avoid some of these products and then we consider other healthier options. In case you want to take all these processed products, then why don't you grab some fruits? Why don't you order in your offices? I see sometimes ladies move around with fene. They put in some other fruits in their pineapple, their cut. Why don't we consider that? Instead of ordering for all this deep fried chicken, why don't you order for these fruits? That is the best way of avoiding it and getting other healthier alternatives.
Okay, then I'd like you to speak to the issue of, like, we have a tendency of reusing our oils. Yeah, I deep fry my chips, say, with the oil, preserve it and keep it somewhere, then use it again for another purpose tomorrow, and then another purpose. You keep reusing the same oil after it has been exposed to heat. What's your take on that?
Basically, it is evident that overusing of oil has health effects. Because the truth is that in oil, there's what we call the smoke point. When you heat up oil at high temperatures, there are types of oil like the sunflower oil, the peanut oil, that have very high smoke points. It is hard for them to reach that level where they start smoking. When you see oil start smoking, that means it has started degrading. So now, if you have used oil today, and you have used it to an extent whereby it has started smoking, that means it has started degrading all these other components, and that may not be beneficial for health, is now degrading into the oil. You realize that you cannot use such a oil again the next day. So reusing oil, it's not right, and for especially oil that can easily degrade, and you have seen that it has now reached that level whereby it is smoking, that means it has reached that smoke point, and that is so bad for our health because it has started degrading, and the keeping qualities will reduce, and all these chemicals that are not good for our health will be introduced into that oil. Yes.
Then there is a tendency, you did talk about the labels. Interesting.
Yes.
Hardly do people get down to read labels.
Oh.
They just pick things off the shelf.
Great.
So how do they know that I'm picking the right? We have by this tendency, like now how they talk about the virgin cooking oil, that is the olive oil, that's what everybody would like to do, but affordability. So what we do, we'll stick to the sunflower, you know, and others which are affordable within our range.
Yes.
So how do we get into the habit of learning how to read the labels? And sometimes we might even read them, but we do not know what is harmful within the ingredients on the label.
It's great. When you talk about food labels, I know it is becoming actually a key issue of interest globally. That's why universities like Chambogo, organizations like the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights, the Ministry of Health, we are coming together to actually do research that will inform development of guidelines on front of pack labeling. And I believe with time the government will come in to support with creating awareness to the general population that reading labels, ingredient list is very important. And whenever you go out there, like I've mentioned, if I'm to be specific for industrial trans fat, you have read the label, and basically in the label, in the ingredient list, you have seen it has partially hydrogenated oils, it has shortenings, it has partially adding oils. Then you will know that there is a high possibility, or it is true that this component or this food item will have what? Industrial trans fat. And industrial trans fat increases my risk of what? Suffering from heart disease. So that means it is a personal initiative after understanding this and really ensuring that we always read food labels. And I know we shall be focusing more advocacy on this in the near future, but let's get it from here. Food labels is very important to read the ingredient list and other information. Thank you.
Okay. As all the stakeholders concerned and involved in this, how are you working with the manufacturers of these trans industrial fats to see that we have a solution together, you and them?
I know for now, what we're doing is basically we're trying as much as possible to create awareness. And I know with the proper regulation, the government, with us together, we are going to work together with the manufacturers to tell them that, one, let's declare. Let the products declare that they have industrial trans fat so that choice is made, informed choice. Another thing is that if you can avoid, let's use alternatives. There are always alternatives. Be innovative. Employ the technical people in nutrition to advise your industries on the best approach to take. Employ the nutritionists, the technical people, the food scientists, the technical people to advise you so that you are not on the wrong track, so that your product is accepted by the general public there, because it's about the health, not only about the money. Yes. Thank you.
I'd like to request you to guide a viewer who is watching you right now on what the natural fats are.
Basically, what we would call, of course, natural fats, if we're talking about natural fats, basically like the vegetable oils, whatever is there, and others are found in animal products. Not so? Others are found in animal products, like you find there is ghee there. That's why sometimes you might have these components there also, but because they are not industrial produced, for them they are natural, they are formed in animal products, and others in plant-based products. So those ones are natural. But this one that requires industrial modification of what is natural and introducing another component to it to make it ardent and less fluid, that has transformed its nature to what we are now saying. Meanwhile, the efforts are to improve it, it is creating more problems. Thank you.
So in other words, you're suggesting ghee is okay, but to what extent should one take it?
I'm not suggesting ghee is okay, and only that you realize that in certain communities, they say they have always taken it, but equally, because it is a saturated fat, I can only say it's not the best option. It's not the best option. And I wouldn't definitely recommend it for anyone. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone because we have healthier oils like the avocado oils. They're there. And I've actually realized avocado, if the country can actually advance production of avocado, is very actually easy to process avocado oil. Those are healthier oils that would benefit us a lot. And we have others. Thank you.
So how do you intend to make sure the layman gets to know? Because for us as we enjoy wholly, you know, where we do not know that there is what they even call industrial trans fats. For us, all of them we categorize in one general bit. Oils as oils, fat as fat, ghee is also classified in the oils. How do we come up, you know, to specifically, because they will definitely still struggle to read the labels, but how do we make sure that they are able to make informed choices?
Okay, for now, for you to be able to make informed choices easily, for now, what I believe in the complexity of the science and the rest that you have mentioned, the easiest way is, because we have known where they are found, and they are found mostly in these deep-fried coated foods. Those foods with basically like the donuts that we eat, those deep-fried the breads, you realize that they are found in. So we need to know the sources. If we know the sources, that is the best way to avoid them. That means as much as possible, we limit on them. And then that means we shall be able to actually avoid all this other, because we have realized that they are in these products.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how are you also working along with the manufacturers? Because you can imagine if somebody has been dealing in industrial trans fats for as long as they have been, and it's something that's been very popular, how are we trying to ensure that they can transit from that to much more safer options of the fats that we take?
Yes, thank you so much. As you know, there's always trends in the world that can be informed by science. That means that for someone to succeed in business, you need to accept the reality. You need to know where the world is moving. Instead of resisting change, you have to accept that if elsewhere the World Health Organization is saying this is bad and this is actually what makes me money, then we come to you, we explain to you, then that means you have to be innovative. And that's why we are always encouraging the industries to get more innovations or be more innovative in actually approaches or in using oils that are healthier for making their products. And that is what we are doing with them, working together with them, encouraging them, and also supporting them with this technical advice, and also encouraging them to work with the nutritionists out there, encouraging them to work with the food scientists out there to know how to actually work out and come with recipes that are actually more innovative and healthier for the people. This is possible. Yes. Okay.
I'd like you to speak to the area of insulin resistance that can also be caused due to the industrial trans fats amongst some people, and that's why it's believed that it can also lead to type 2 diabetes.
Yes. As for the fact of insulin resistance, like we all know, or some people may know, it definitely leads to type 2 diabetes mellitus. And insulin resistance, it's basically caused, one, as a result of inability of the cells to do what? To sense, and also the receptors to receive insulin, to take them into the cells and help in the breakdown of glucose. And what happens with fats and insulin resistance is that when the body accumulates fats, sometimes, or most times, it gets on surfaces of those cells that are supposed to actually, or have receptors for insulin. So that is one mechanism through which insulin resistance is brought. And when the insulin is unable to actually respond or enter cells and break down glucose, and that leads to accumulation of glucose, and that increases the risk of diabetes or type 2 diabetes mellitus. So that would be the mechanism, or one way through which it is related.
Okay. Now this industrial trans fats are sometimes some of the things, you know, like, I'm being very honest now here, where there are certain times some people will recommend in terms of when the child is malnutrited, and they're like, if you add this to their diet, the child will be able to, you know, get into a normal set like any normal child. Yes. So how do we create a balance? Because it's a fact. I'll not mention which particular trans fats, but it has happened.
Okay. Okay, basically, I get your point for like the case of malnutrition and improvement or enriching the foods of the children. Basically, when we say you prepare foods and maybe add some oils, usually we don't recommend the use of such fats. And the oils I've mentioned, like the extra virgin olive oils and those sunflower oils, the peanut oils, in case a nutritionist has recommended that when you're preparing the food for your child, you add in some oil, that is the oil we are recommending, but not these other added fats. So, because we know the oils have energy, they can be beneficial in that case, but we are not recommending these added fats. So that's how I would respond to that in this case. So it's not the added fats, not these spreads on the children's bread, those are fatty spreads that many of us know them and use them at home, but we mean when preparing their food, you can add those extra virgin olive oil, the peanut oils, some little quantity in their foods, basically that.
Then I would like you to speak to the issue of the intake of the animal fats, since they are healthy. Now we might get too comfortable outdoing ourselves.
Okay. And maybe to correct on that, the animal fats, not healthy per se, and that's why we recommend white meat. White meat, that is like chicken without the skin, because the skin has cholesterol. Yeah? And the cholesterol is what we're talking about here, the bad cholesterol. So, that's why we recommend, like people love to eat rabbit or the poultry, we recommend fish and all these things. And that is why we also recommend that when you're going to buy meat, it's usually good to select the lean meat. Because by lean, I mean no extra fats on top. The reason why we also recommend, when you're consuming animal food, you recommend white meat is that within the tissues, they don't have a lot of fat. But red meat, when you cut, you can even see fats within the tissues. So all that can actually increase your intake of the fats that we don't want, or we are actually speaking against, in case you take these excess of these animal fats that are condensed in these type of fats that we don't like. So it's not healthy per se, but the selection is very important.
Okay.
Yes.
So how big is this problem that we are talking about? Because when we talk about the industrial trans fats and the risk of them causing heart disease, how big? Is it something you would say in a particular percentage is like now overwhelming and shooting here in Uganda if you've done research on it? Or should we say it's still on a low and it's a thing for the Western world?
Oh, thank you. Actually, we should know that the problem is with us. It's now in us. And imagine, for the case of Uganda, cardiovascular disease or disease related to, let's say, non-communicable disease is now linked to about 33% of all deaths in the country. To break it down for the viewers out there, I'm trying to say if 100 people die, 33 of those 100 people have died because of causes related to diabetes, heart attack, stroke, and all these other coronary diseases and also these other cardiovascular diseases. So that is how big the issue is. Imagine 33 out of 100 people who have died. It's likely that they have died because of these causes. That tells us. And I have many testimonies of cases whereby people have just collapsed in meetings, have died. So now that is where Ugandans will say someone is poisoned, someone is what, but this thing is real. It's with us. It is happening today, tomorrow, and for always if we don't change some of these simple things that we are talking about. So this is a big problem.
Now I'd like you to break down for me what you think should be healthy eating. What should somebody's plate look like?
In terms of the plate, it shouldn't be so hard for us to achieve it. Imagine there is what we call the healthy eating plate, whereby a half of that plate should actually be full of the fruits and the vegetables. That's all. Let's say a half of the plate is there, you have put there fruits and vegetables, and then this other half we have some protein dishes, like you have some legumes, the bean stew there, and maybe you have some meat somewhere there. I mean, you have bean stew and meat, that is combining some animal and then plant proteins. And then you have a carbohydrate dish in the other end. So, but you're having more of what? Your fruits, your vegetables in a day. And overall, you have achieved great. Because if you maintain that, then you realize that you are not consuming too much of high energy foods, but also you are basically consuming more of these fruits and vegetables that contain more of these refuges, more of these vitamins, body protective, and so on, and little of the energy.
You know, it's what you're saying here, but I smile when you talk about it, because when we actually go to these places where we go, our restaurants, it is the other way around. The carbohydrates take the majority. Then the animal proteins, the fruits, rarely. Now when it comes to the vegetables, if it is nakati, you'll be served 1 tablespoon of nakati.
Yeah, I get that. And that is something, that's why I was mentioning, I was trying to bring out something, the fact that sometimes for us to change, we need to know, one, the perceived susceptibility. Is there a problem that can actually affect me? And what is the severity of that problem? And if I have barriers to it, I can handle it. Are there people out there speaking of the same problem? So if you hear all this and also listen to ways to transform it, that is basically the best way to do what? To change. So I know this looks hard, but looking at the healthy eating plate, you would realize that it is recommendable that we try as much as possible to achieve it in a day. And there are many people who have given testimonies, by the way. There are people who have actually transformed. I don't know if you have tried it.
I tried it where mine has actually more greens, and if I was doing 3 pieces of chicken, I do 1 piece. I'm trying to.
You can see. That means there's something you have noted or realized, and that's the way to go. Someone else should try it. Me, I've been into it. I try my best, and I don't get excited about the deep fried foods. I see always people going for it. Sometimes they think it's because of the status. If you have money, you have to go for it. It shouldn't be about that. If you have the money or you're excited about the money, please order some of these fruits and vegetables. I think they are on those online platforms. Order them. You will enjoy, and you'll keep yourself healthy, and you enjoy your money even longer. So that is it.
You don't spoil yourself, not even one. You know, there are certain times we tell ourselves,
yes,
junk once a week.
Junk once a week.
Spoil yourself once a week.
Definitely, I wouldn't argue much on that. If someone would say they do it rarely, the problem comes with people who are too excited. Imagine a parent who think to love a child, you need to buy them those things. They are excited. They don't know the reality. And then imagine me who knows it, but yeah, once in a while, maybe I pick this, I go for this once in a while. But there's this group of people who think it's a way of life. It's a current trend. That is where the problem is. A very big problem. Yes.
Now, of course, since it's a health Q&A, at this particular time, we're going to be able to respond to your questions. Now, this one says, hello, thank you for educating us on health.
Yes.
Why does government allow production and supply of this unhealthy fat? This is Ben from Kotido asking you.
So, why does the government allow production and supply? One, you know, I know currently we don't have any laws regulating that, and earlier there were no global movements toward that informing governments, and I believe that the government was reluctant earlier because there was no scientific evidence relating this to actually all these problems we are discussing. But I understand now, the government is reacting, and the government, I believe they will support these initiatives to ensure that some of these, the industrial trans fat is banned. And I believe since they have connected all this, I know this is being watched, I believe even by the president, and he's always on the side of health. And I strongly believe that he will try as much as possible to ensure that this is looked at critically, and industrial trans fat is banned and healthier options introduced in our country.
Okay. Now, this is somebody saying, this is Eddie from Umbali. You are the same doctors who recommend for us these products to be consumed on the market. If you know they are dangerous to our bodies in the future, then why don't you go ahead and recommend them? Why do you go ahead and recommend them for us? Don't you think that you're not being truthful? Because you know they cause problems. If you know they are bad, and these products are risky to the population, you don't go ahead and recommend them.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie from Mbale. But what I would inform you is that for a nutritionist, if you are talking in regards to eating, diet and health, you would refer to a nutritionist. And usually for any nutrition, we wouldn't recommend you that you should consume some of those products. And I also advise the general public out there to be dealing with licensed nutritionists. In Uganda, we have people who are really talking around things that they don't know. But That's why at the university we bring out many people, and most of them are licensed by the Allied Health. So we need to be engaging more with these licensed nutritionists and dietitians out there who will give you the correct information, not just people's perception out there. So let's deal with the nutritionists and the dietitians. They're out there to guide on diet and health. Thank you.
Okay, and then this one is like, good morning, thank you for the health program. Give me a light on salts, which is best? Because at certain times we have this tendency, the doctors tell us salt is also not good because of hypertension, and they tell us to limit the intake. Then we have this excuse of like, they're the pre-cooked salts, let's say like the aromat specifically, and people are comfortable. So kindly guide on which salts and to what amount as a nutritionist should one take?
Yes, thank you so much. As we know very well, salt is basically one way of improving the taste of the food. And salt in high amounts greater than what I would call 1 teaspoon a day, 5 grams a day, it's not okay for you.
1 teaspoon a day is not okay.
That is 5 grams of salt a day. Beyond that, it's not right. That is excess in a day. But as you know, sometimes you may engage in, even you're eating boiled eggs, you add salt. Yet salt is to taste. With boiled eggs, even if you eat without salt, you will feel the saltiness in the egg. So some of these practices can allow us to avoid, and there is no healthier salt. Because salt is salt, and what we're talking about is the sodium in the salt. Yeah? And that with a lot of mechanisms increases the blood pressure. So the only thing to do is, as much as possible, let's reduce intake. And it doesn't cost you anything not to add extra salt on boiled eggs, not to add extra salt on food. It's just a way of life. It's like taking milk without sugar. If you take milk without sugar for a long time, you'll realize you are actually wasting a lot of sugar adding into milk. For what? It's just a way of life that we need to adopt and realize that we have just built this taste when we were young, and we can reduce on some of those tastes as we grow up or as early as we can. So there is no healthier option there. We need as much as possible to reduce.
Okay. Now this one says, good morning, my name is Akram Senyonga. I would like to thank the presenter and you, Roma, the host, Sophia, for the insightful discussion. My question is, can eliminating trans fats alone make a significant difference in preventing heart disease like coronary artery disease, or are there other lifestyle factors equally important that should be used?
One is that eliminating trans fats will make a significant difference. And it has happened. In countries that have eliminated, we have seen figures are showing that there's great improvement, but it's not the only strategy. There are other strategies, like lifestyle strategies. One, for people who smoke, you need to stop it. For people who don't do exercise, you need to encourage yourself to do exercise. At least 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week is okay for you. So you need to do exercise. You need to avoid some of those lifestyle, like taking alcohol, smoking. All those lifestyle factors can increase your risk of some of these diseases. And when you avoid them, you realize that equally you are contributing to the whole pool of reducing coronary heart disease. But eliminating trans fat is evident and a significant approach.
Okay. Then good morning. I'm Lucky Joe from Arua. Just want you to highlight on cholesterol-rich foods. I don't know, maybe he means the good cholesterol, what he meant by that. You'll be able to, the foods that are good and can boost one's good cholesterol, I would assume. Okay,
the foods that are good and can boost your good cholesterol, like I've mentioned earlier. I believe most of the foods we prepare at home. Well, we prepare stew using our peanut oils, and basically, like I've mentioned before, use of peanut oils to prepare food, use of sunflower oils to prepare foods, and basically foods that are not processed, consumption of foods that are not highly processed, or maybe you have used a lot of your fats in it, foods without those coatings, deep fried with coatings. So those foods are better and with healthier oils. So then also we have like fish. For people who love consuming fish, they have healthier oils. And most of the plant-based foods, basically, they have healthier oils. So like for people who love pasting, they have healthier oils. So basically that.
Okay.
There are alternatives out there.
Okay, we selfishly did talk about our adult plating. We didn't talk about that age bracket that is forcing the households to go by what they want to eat, the chips. You know, so what is a healthy plating for them? Possibly it could also help a parent who is watching right now to know how to have a healthy plating for that young person who loves their chips a lot.
For a young person, basically, as you know, for the adolescents, usually we encourage, they benefit from a lot of proteins. That is foods which are rich in bodybuilding foods. And that means, meanwhile, generally, we are saying consumption of fruits and vegetables is actually key, but the adolescents need to benefit, and the young children need to benefit from a lot of the proteins, all these foods that compose of the bodybuilding components. Like we talk of the animal-rich foods or these fleshy foods. That's why we encourage that children take a lot of this fish. We encourage that the children take a lot of, they take, not a lot of, but they take a lot, they take eggs, sometimes we boil it for them. So, because they contain more of the what? The proteins. And they also need energy, they are running around. They are running around, but the energy, or the source of energy, should be from healthier alternatives. If you boil potatoes for a child and give, some of us used to go to school with potatoes early in the morning, just pick the boiled ones, you go with Irish potatoes, the boiled options. Because why should you deep fry? There's energy in the potatoes really. The kawunga has energy.
True.
And they need the energy. So why should I think that chips is the best one? Let them get used to these healthier alternatives. The method of preparation, using boiling for the carbohydrate-rich foods. It will help them. Thank you.
Okay. Now this is Ronald from Bale. Are there any efforts to inspect food cooked and sold and eaten from the streets?
Yeah, thank you. I understand regarding efforts to actually inspect the foods. I think that could be why the government is currently trying as much as possible to regulate informal the roadside sellers, because one, they have noted that meanwhile the local governments should do the inspection, because I've noted that it's not the UNBS who do inspection of such roadside sales, especially in local governments. Those food is sold at the roadside. It's supposed to be the local government. There's a food safety unit in the local government. They're supposed to do that, but sometimes they're overwhelmed, and that is why the point is now that no, let some of these informal sales of food along the roadside, let it get to formal places that can easily be inspected. So that is why the country is not promoting that line of informally selling food along the roadside, but getting food sold in formal places that people, all these regulatory bodies can go and inspect. That is easy for a nation. I believe so. And that would be a better approach. So the formal places are actually followed and they are actually inspected. But the informal places is very hard. You get here, they are running in the other corner with their food. They are running there. You can't follow them. It's difficult.
Yeah, very true.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. At this particular point, I'd like us to take a very short commercial break. When we do come back, we will still respond to your concerns and your questions. And let's say thank you for keeping it with us. Your health matters and your voice deserves to be heard. Introducing the show that puts you at the center of the conversation. From common illnesses to complex conditions to the questions you've always wanted answered. Top medical experts.
The cost of maintaining that bed on a daily basis 24/7, because an ICU is a 24/7 unit. One single bed can cost between 2 million and 4 million per day.
Real questions from the viewers, practical answers you can trust. Now, join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. as we talk openly about issues that affect you and your family. Health Q&A talk show, your health, your say.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UG Pass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UG Pass, your identity secured. Available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UG Pass is a product of Nita Uganda.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
Your health matters and your voice deserves to be heard. Introducing the show that puts you at the center of the conversation. From common illnesses to complex conditions to the questions you've always wanted answered. Top medical experts.
The cost of maintaining that bed on a daily basis 24/7, because an ICU is a 24/7 unit. One single bed can cost between 2 million and 4 million per day.
Real questions from the viewers, practical answers you can trust. Now, join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. as we talk openly about issues that affect you and your family. Health Q&A talk show, your health, your say. Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still with us on the Health Q&A, and of course the topic of discussion is displayed on screen. The issue of heart disease and heart risk is really very worrying of late. If you heard of the percentage alone of the non-communicable diseases, Rumi has said it, I'll not say it again, it is worrying. If we are losing 33 out of 100 people due to specific conditions that we can manage, I think we should continue living the life the right way. We say it's your health, your say, so it's your say to make sure that you comply. I'll still get back to your questions. Now here is one who says, what foods do well for brain development and activity?
Yeah, basically brain development, that one we're looking at foods for the children, because brain development, it's usually good when a child is still young, and we talk of children usually 0 month to 2 years or to 5 years. And brain development, we're looking at foods rich in basically essential minerals like the zinc, and also rich in healthier fats that would also help in maintaining that the brain development. So when we talk of that, one very important food that comes into my mind is fish. Fish is very important for that. So if you have a child out there, it would be great to feed them with fish. They have healthier oils. That is actually a key component for that. And then we also have what we don't like, that contains protein and also minerals, and that is the mukene that some people despise. It's also very important because it contains the minerals and contains the proteins, and that is very important. And we also have our legumes that we consume. That means you are actually despising, rich in proteins, and also other components that are good for the brain development. And we have other nuts and seeds that we love to take in our different communities, or sometimes we take like also other things like peanut. That's very, very good in the aspect of development and also promote brain health. So all these are healthier alternatives that can work out there, in addition to many others that we actually consume.
Okay. Now, I appreciate the health talk show currently running. This is Muwanguzi from Chitende. Thank you so much for watching the show. Now, good morning. My name is Akram Senyonga. Okay, now this Akram, you did ask, okay, you're asking a second question. Can we say that dietary diversity is of importance in management of heart diseases? Akram, asked a question a lot earlier. Now he's asking his second question.
It's well. In regards to diversity of diets, that is core. It's very important because when we talk of diversity, we are looking at the aspect of bringing in different food alternatives. Like I said, if you are taking some maybe bean stew, maybe you have mixed it with some mukene somewhere, and then you have brought in some vegetables, and then you have some fruits. You are making it diverse, as opposed to every day what you consume, posho, beans in the morning, posho, beans in the evening, posho, beans. So it's not diverse. If you can see, like the example I've given, it is composing of foods from different what I would call groups. So that creates a diverse plate of different options, not from just the same group. It doesn't mean that when you're eating rice, posho, and kalo in the same plate, that is diverse. That one you're just eating different varieties in the same group because they're all the carbohydrate dishes.
Yeah, true.
So basically, but when I talk of diverse, I'm saying you're picking, there are some fruit, some vegetable, you're picking some animal-rich food, you're picking some plant-based rich proteins. So in one plate, and you're consuming. So that plays a factor because you have fruits and vegetables in it. It is always very good. Yes, so that diversity is important.
Now, I'd like you to share with us, are there any specific guidelines that WHO has set out as far as industrial trans fats are concerned? It would be nice for us to hear that.
For World Health Organization, their key focus now that we all subscribe to is basically in eliminating trans fats, industrial trans fats. They have done it in many nations, about 60 countries. They have accepted it, and they're in the right track. They have accepted that industrial trans fats are bad, and they have accepted to ban it. So I also hope our nation gets into it, because the World Health Organization has created strategies or strategies for governments to follow. That's what we call a replace initiative. that was launched in 2018. In the Replace initiative, one, the World Health Organization is advising governments to review the sources, the common sources of industrial trans fat. And basically, that is what we have collaborated to do, me from Chambogo University and also collaborating with the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights. We was funded some of our research to review some of the sources of industrial trans fats, helping the government in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. So we are reviewing some of the sources in a recommendation to what World Health Organization has done, wanting the governments to do. Another thing is, in the Replace, the P is for promoting healthier alternatives. Like I have been mentioning, promoting healthier alternatives of these oils. Like I've talked of healthy alternative, avoiding some of those deep fried and coated foods and all those other food that might have used the partially hydrogenated oils, and ensuring that we continue taking our sunflower oils, we continue taking our, in moderate amounts, we continue taking other healthy alternatives. And then another thing with the L is the legislative approach, setting laws. Like now we are pushing towards development of regulations to ban trans fats in Uganda. And we hope the government will support. And then A is to assess or to monitor compliance, to monitor how it is out there, and also to monitor on the packages. Are people declaring, are manufacturers declaring, informing the consumers? That is the A to assess. And then C is creating awareness, like I'm here today. That means we are in line. We are creating awareness to the general population out there that this is the issue. And the E is basically ensuring that there is compliance. And once there is compliance, you realize that everything goes on in the right direction. So it's basically what the World Health Organization has approved that should be done by nations, and the nations are trying their best. And also with the civil society organizations like the Center for Food and Adequate Living Rights, with academic institutions like the Chambogo University, Makerere University, the Ministry of Health, we're working together to ensure that since this is a problem, we actually work towards eliminating or banning industrial trans fat in our country. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I hear that when you boil greens and some proteins beyond a certain temperature, they kind of like lose their nutritional value.
Yes.
You would like to be guided, maybe like to what percentage should we prepare some of these foods of ours?
Yeah, thank you. At the university, I happen to be teaching dietetic cookery, dietetic meal preparation and service. You see me, I know how to cook healthier foods. Okay, so when we are talking in terms of preparation of foods, imagine you are serving food for eggs for your child, and then you fry it. You realize how everything coagulates, like the eggs coagulate, and it forms some fiber that is even hard for a child to chew. Sometimes for young children, when they take in that fried eggs, they spit it out. Why? It's because first of all, protein can easily be denatured or destroyed at high temperature, can be denatured. So that means, how can you prepare it best? For example, eggs. I'll give an example with eggs. You can boil it and give a child that one piece. Then, there are other foods like our fruits, our vegetables. If we don't want to miss out on the essential component, like the vitamins that help us to see very well, the vitamin A, and also can easily be lost. One way to prepare it is, first of all, when you are cutting, don't over chop the foods into fine. Sometimes we chop a lot. And then also when you're cooking, we recommend using what we call either what we call stir frying, 3 to 5 minutes. Stirring there. It will be ready using very little oil, because oil is also important in our absorption of vitamin A, very little oil, then you stir fry, it will be ready. For cabbage, sometimes there's what we call, we do some form of, we boil just for a very short time, and it's ready, like for 3 to 5 minutes, and you remove it. You can just do some parboiling, and then you remove it, and it's ready for you to eat, instead of eating it raw. And for other options, like for fruits, we recommend that you eat it basically the way it is. Sometimes, like when you're eating your mangoes, instead of crushing it a lot, exposing it, cutting it finely, and exposing it out there for the vitamin A to maybe to get lost, what you could do is eat it the way it is. Like for mangoes, you just enjoy it, like the way we used to enjoy in the village. That is beneficial. So instead of over chopping, and then some of these volatile nutrients are lost.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, he was right on that. Then, good morning. Can you tell us the most dangerous food to our heart?
Yeah, thank you. I will directly mention it the way we have actually been mentioning it right from the beginning. The most dangerous foods to your heart. It's basically those food that are deep fried and coated that you love to order. Those ones are dangerous to your heart. And in the long run, they will bring you problems. Why are the problems actually increasing? Now, it's because they are accessible. Those days we used to take sodas during Christmas only. Someone will say, hey, but we used to take soda also when we were young. But they were occasionally, after like how many months?
Once a year,
Once
Christmas,
a year.
Easter.
But nowadays,
Eid, when you had those public holidays where food is the major.
Nowadays, 2 meters away, you can access it. How many times can you take it in a day? That's where the problem is. You can compare it with how we used to live it. So that is why we are here to say that because you can easily access it, the risk is higher. Try to avoid it. Yes.
Okay, I hope he's really answered you very well. Now, I would like you to share with us your take-home message as far as eliminating industrial trans fats are concerned and how they're linked. Your final take-home message to a person who's watching the show right now.
To a person who is watching the show right now, was to let you know, like you have heard out there, and you will keep hearing, because for us to change, we have to keep hearing. I know it's not going to be the end. The truth is that some of these foods that we consume are not healthy for us. We are not being strict on your consumption. We are just trying to be helpful. And the good thing is we provide you with alternatives, and the alternatives that can be healthier for you. And usually when you need more guidance, you can reach out to the experts in nutrition and dietetics. There are many professionals now out there. This can be of great support. But take care of yourself. Watch out. I was here, as I'm talking, there is a friend of mine saying, I'm following you here with my beer. I was like, oh my.
At this hour?
At this hour. There are people who are stubborn. I hope he's telling a lie. So you can see how people are stubborn. But all this catches up with you. I always say, these are not stories, but they are the real truth. But when you change it now, our grandparents live for long because of this. But nowadays, at 60, Ugandan is saying they are old. Yet a white person is enjoying life. At 50, someone starts telling you they are old. And that attitude of age, we shall discuss it next time. But let's live a healthier lifestyle. Let's encourage ourselves to actually adopt consumption of these healthy alternatives. And for the government, support this initiative basically to eliminate trans fats, because it's core and it will save the government a lot. Meanwhile, some of these industries may pay taxes, but there is opportunity cost. How much do people spend at the Art Institute? How much do people spend at the Cancer Institute? Compared to how much you gain from this. And we're giving an alternative. There are healthier options the industries can adopt. So that means the government doesn't lose anything, but they should design a pathway for all to benefit. So I also encourage that the government comes into support, because there is evidence that these things are really causing problems for the voters, for especially our president. The voters are having problems out there. So I believe he's going to respond to it and ensure that we adopt healthy alternatives. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ruma, for your time.
Great.
And for sharing with us. I believe everybody has been able to get the message, the dangers behind the industrial trans fats, these foods that we are enjoying so much. We need to find a way in which we regulate and also learn the habit of reading labels. That's one thing I've noticed. We start with simple basics like the expiry date. When you pick something off the shelf of a supermarket, have you looked at the expiry date, or you just pick? Now, the responsibility is entirely up to you as a person who is watching, to what point or what intake of the industrial trans fats you're taking. But you have been told about the dangers, and I would say let's also pick what Ruma has shared with us. The healthy plate is very, very, very important. I'd like to say catch you next week same time. Thank you so much for participating on the show, for asking your questions all through. And yeah, bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of our programming. Your health matters and your voice deserves to be heard. Introducing the show that puts you at the center of the conversation. From common illnesses to complex conditions to the questions you've always wanted answered. Top medical experts.
The cost of maintaining that bed on a daily basis 24/7, because an ICU is a 24/7 unit. One single bed can cost between 2 million and 4 million per day.
Real questions from the viewers, practical answers you can trust. Now, join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. as we talk openly about issues that affect you and your family. Health Q&A talk show, your health, your say.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning. Eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.